There's a story that came out a couple nights ago that sort of slipped under everybody's radar. It was just a side point in a bigger article. Now, the article was about, hey, we're dealing with an issue here. The issue is vaccine misinformation. And so now we've sort of plateaued in terms of how many people are going to get their vaccine. And we're trying to find a way to break through and have more people get the vaccine because we want to hit herd immunity and we want people to be protected. So the article, the sentiment of the article is actually something I agree with. I wish there were ways, and we can come up with creative ways to, get more people vaccinated, but do it in a honest and straightforward way. Well, here's the part in Politico that people couldn't believe, including myself, by the way. Beyond Fauci, Press Secretary Jen Psaki has pushed back on Georgia Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a lawmaker she once said she'd not mentioned from the podium, who compared the administration's vaccine campaign to Nazis. What? Jeff Zients, the White House's COVID response director, rebuked Republican Missouri Governor Mike Parson, who contended falsely in a tweet that the government agents were going door to door to compel vaccination. Also untrue and wildly misleading. Here we go. Biden allied groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are also planning to engage fact-checkers more aggressively and work with the SMS carriers to dispel misinformation about vaccines that is sent over social media and text messages. The goal is to ensure that people who may have difficulty getting a vaccination because of issues like transportation see those barriers lessened or removed entirely. Okay. Did you catch that? Biden and the DNC are engaging with fact-checkers, SMS carriers, which is just phone companies, to dispel misinformation about vaccines sent over social media and text messages. Okay, what that is saying is Biden and the DNC want to fact-check your text messages and your social media posts and censor or pull down any kind of vaccine misinformation. I don't know why this isn't the biggest story in the country right now. Cuba's actually a little bigger, but this is gigantic. You're telling me that they want to read our texts or use some sort of algorithm to go through our texts, and anytime somebody says something about vaccines that's untrue, censor it, ban it, don't allow it to be sent? The closest thing I can remember to this is remember when they banned the sharing of that Hunter Biden article during the election? Remember that? And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I don't know if this is a rumor or not because I didn't try to DM it to anybody, but apparently you weren't even able to send it through DMs. So this is a similar thing. So if anybody is skeptical of vaccines or arguing against them, then they want to ban the social media posts or censor them, maybe pull down the posts, and they want to make sure even in your text messages, the government wants to get involved and say, you're not allowed to say that. This is crazy. That's insane. I mean, listen, the groundwork was already laid, starting with George W. Bush and every subsequent administration, that the NSA has the ability to monitor everybody's stuff. Now, they're not monitoring every single thing you do, but, can they set up some sort of a system, an automatic system, an algorithm that just sort of strikes certain words? They probably can. And this is where we're at now. This is super Orwellian and incredibly authoritarian. You want to micromanage private conversations? By the way, how do you think people's minds get changed? In order to change their mind, they need to be allowed to say, here are my issues. Now, maybe most of the issues that they have are bad or wrong. Maybe all of them are. But the only way you can push back and try to improve it is with dialogue. When you ban it and you become authoritarian, you just give them a victim mentality, and they're justified in that victim mentality. And then the thought process becomes, they're only trying to censor me because I'm the truth teller. That's what's going to happen. So you're not helping. If anything, you're hurting. And this is out of this world. Now, understand something. I got my vaccine. I'm pro-vaccine. I even went after the media from the opposite position. I think without even realizing it, they're raising vaccine skepticism with a lot of these headlines that are misleading, like, oh, Pfizer vaccine only 64% effective against new Delta variant. But then when you read the specifics, you realize it's 94% effective against severe illness and hospitalization. So it's not 64%. That's so misleading. So I've gone after the media for being scaremongers on the vaccine and increasing vaccine hesitancy. So I'm very clear on my position on vaccines. But this is just ludicrous. And you're going to breed resentment? People would be correct in feeling that resentment? Get the fuck out of our private lives. Are you kidding me? I don't want you having the ability to, do anything with private text messages. What are you talking about? Or social media posts or DMs. That's insane. And this just only like maybe 3 or 4 outlets picked it up. I couldn't believe it. This is huge. Now, listen, maybe there's some idiot over at Politico wrote it down wrong and it doesn't mean what it looks like it obviously means. If that is the case, Politico should issue a correction. And, the Biden administration should come out and make a statement on the record. But no, that's not what this means. Here's what we mean. But I'm pretty sure this is what they mean. It is what they mean. I mean, if you want people to get the vaccine, it's not that difficult. So they're doing like the vaccine lotteries and stuff. That's one way to do it. But I think a better way is to just pay people $200 if they get the vaccine, or $400 or something. Maybe be able to increase it massively with just $100. That's, I think, tax money well spent. Hey, you get another stimulus check if you get the vaccine. That'll definitely help. Censoring private text conversations, censoring social media posts. And again, I'm not saying vaccine misinformation isn't a problem. It's definitely a problem. But this is not how you deal with it. We're supposed to believe in open and honest dialogue. And by the way, I fail to see how this doesn't violate the First Amendment either. Because this is the government taking clear anti-speech measures. Now, maybe they could wiggle out of it and make the argument, well, yeah, but we're not locking you up in a cage, so therefore it's really not a violation of the First Amendment. I guess they could try to make that argument, but I'm not buying that argument. I think this is the government restricting speech. I mean, people need to be allowed to voice their concerns. And then the way you change their mind is you engage and you explain why it's incorrect, why what they're saying is incorrect. And you know what? Some people are never going to change their mind and they're going to be permanently anti-vaccine. So be it. I don't like it, but that's life. We just got to get it up to like herd immunity level, and then we'll be much better off. So, I mean, this is astonishing. And they don't stop and think and realize how authoritarian this is and how this will rightly breed resentment against the government. And by the way, they fuck stuff up all the time, all throughout the pandemic. Should they be censored? Fauci was out there early on saying masks don't work or don't get masks. Now, he later admitted, it's just because I wanted the mask for the people on the front line. But at the time, he didn't say that. At the time, he was like, they're not really going to work. What? They've been wrong time and time again. Should they be censored? Should they be fact-checked? How are you even going to set up a ministry of truth to fact-check? There are many things we know the answers to, but there's also many things that are in a permanent gray area or in a gray area right now. And I've seen no humility from the government. I don't see humble civil servants saying, I don't know about that yet. I see people giving answers and then later on being proven incorrect. So, I mean, again, there can be no ministry of truth because who will fact check the fact checkers? And then who will fact check the fact checkers who fact check the fact checkers? I mean, I know that sounds silly, but think about it. It's accurate. Wild stuff, man. Really, really wild stuff. If another country was doing this, we would call it deeply authoritarian. But since we do it, we think it's smart public policy in order to get more people vaccinated. Or to get more people a vaccine. Oh, this is dark. This is really dark.